Hey, welcome to ZooBricks. My name is Maxine and I'm trying to build the world's largest Lego zoo. And in today's video, I'm going to be making some upgrades and changes to my otter enclosure. Now, when I first built the otter enclosure, I wanted to try and make sure that the Lego otters could actually go in the water. So I kind of made like a little bit of a loose piece enclosure so they could kind of bury in it, but looks rubbish. So when I did my botanical garden pond a few months ago, I really liked the look of that. So I'm going to try and replicate that for the otter enclosure. And then right above the otter enclosure is of course the mountain fortress set, which has its own kind of like little stream running through it. So I want to integrate that stream into the waterfall that pours into the otter enclosure. Okay, so I removed all of the loose bits of water. There was a lot. And I started laying down this herringbone pattern here because I wanted it to look a bit more like the botanical garden pond that I've done, which looks pretty cool. Now the depth of the water from the edge of the pond is probably like 2 plates deep, whereas if we go back to the otters, it's actually like a whole brick and a bit deep. And I just think it looks weird that there's this weird kind of edge here. So what I'm going to do is take all of this herringbone back off again, and I'm going to put one of these bricks down underneath and actually layer a layer of these ones down, which will give it extra depth, and then put the herringbone on top of that. Before I get too committed and it's just going to be a nightmare to turn back. I think it looks a lot better now. The water level is kind of there, and I've basically created that by doing 1 brick and 1 tile on top of there. So it does give the water quite a bit of depth, and you can also still pick up on the lightness and the darkness through the water too. Now originally, the reason why I made the pond the way that I did was so that the otters could actually be submerged in the water. This is going to make it really tricky. So I think for display purposes, I'm going to have to put the otters on the rocks or on the land. Now the good thing about Asian short-clawed otters is that they are semi-aquatic. So these are actually spend a lot more time on land than they do in the water. So you tend to build them in an enclosure that's 2/3 land and 1/3 water. I think it's realistic that they hang out on the land. Now the other thing that I've done is I've built up the rocks as well, because obviously you can't have a slope underneath the water like that, which is really annoying. So what I've done is I've got some dark grey brick to kind of resemble the underneath of the water, the wet rock. And then what I'll do is I'll sit the dry rock on top of it, which is the lighter colour grey. And obviously then the water can butt up to that and it won't look weird. So I've added some little bits of ripples in the water around the rocks and like a few coming from the waterfall. I've redone all the water through here so that that's all got a little bit of depth. Obviously I'm still missing a few bits of water there. And then I've also redone the pond at the top so it all matches. However, what I really want to do is tie it into the water that comes from this fortress. So I'm going to build up, I think, a little bit of rock work around here so that it's like the top. And then I need to try and figure out how I'm going to connect that water to the top pond and still make it look right. So there we go. That's been modified and the water has been changed to actually run into the Otter enclosure, and I think it looks so much better. Now don't forget to subscribe and like this video for more LEGO Zoo updates.